I went to church and it was a DJ there, right? Which was really dope. I think that's really cool. But he was playing gospel and then he played some cut by Trillville.
He just played the beat.
He played the beat. But this is what I'm saying. Yeah. What it is.
No.
Where was we going?
But you see what just happened right there? It got tricky. That's what I'm saying. It got tricky because I was like trying to say I never would have made it, but then it was like, what it is. So now I'm twerking in church. And that's crazy.
That's crazy work.
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy work.
You know, I like choirs. You know what I'm saying? I'm big on choirs and the
Do you miss choirs?
I do. Like,
but we got Sunday service. You perform with Will Smith
miss
Sunday service.
Choir. But when you go to church, there are praise. It's like a praise
I don't like
team.
praise teams. I like
but
choir.
every church is adapting that style, and it can be frustrating for me because I miss.
It was community.
That's crazy.
I don't like praise.
I want to hear whoa.
You know what's funny? Let me tell you what's funny.
Alto, soprano.
You sound like the OGs who be like, all this mumble rap.
But no. Hold on. But let me tell you why I would have to humbly differ.
Okay.
Thank you.
You have one of the most prolific artists at the time, Kanye.
Yeah.
When he wanted to start doing gospel music, he didn't use a praise team. He used the choir.
He did.
I think that choirs reflect a sonic that gives you an unapologetic gospel. That's what I think they're saying. So yeah. And I do think that sometimes the European movement of worship has sometimes robbed us of that black experience. It's robbed us of this.
Yes.
No, Kirk, you talking now. You talking now.
that.
And then they be having all that wordy stuff. I mean, they be up in there like, your presence is able to capture my glory and sky and the moon and the stars. I just want to hear.
He's able.
He's able. Yeah. Give me 2 words. I've seen that. Now you got to have a PowerPoint with paragraphs to sing these gospel songs.
Diamond.
I can respect that.
Diamond.
You get what I'm saying?
I can respect that.
I think it's kind of tough. And I appreciate you at least noticing what's happening because there is this transition that us old school, down south folks really want to see. And it's hard to find.
All right. So what do you think about that? This is a conversation we've had a lot about, for the first part of her conversation where it's like playing secular instrumentals and playing like, even the critiques on line for line. When we used to do destinations and we would play, the DJ would play. I wonder if they're talking about somebody we know, but the DJ would play.
I heard that blended before though, what you talking about.
Yeah, the DJ would play, mainstream instrumentals during the show. Is it a distraction? Is it detrimental to the witness when Christians mix world with God?
I think a lot of it can be subjective in where you are in your walk. What I start to see in the black church is that the music sometimes can be an entertainment piece to go into service, and it's what you prefer, what you like, what used to resonate maybe when you were growing up. What you kind of created your preference to be on the music you associate with your faith. And I think that we should be invited into all of it. If you have your preference, have the preference, but don't knock the other styles of worship that people are using to honor the same God that you praise. So I'm one of my praise team leaders at church, so I understand the tug between like the old school and this new stuff, the new Christian contemporary, and how people might respond to it, and they might want songs that they want to listen to and hear all the time, and I have to choose songs according to that, but I like to make sure it's a blend of songs that matter to me, to my subjective view, songs that I can resonate with and be able to allow the Holy Spirit to use me to minister that song. And there might be a song you might like too, but I'll bring a new song to service all the time. I'll do that, and it might not be what you're familiar with, but if the spirit and the power is in delivering that song and worshiping, then regardless of what you think, you should be able to at least respect it.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna get in trouble. My brothers, my turntable brother's gonna be mad at me. Man. Okay. I got into Christian gospel, I got into the Christian rap, gospel, urban gospel space. I knew about it in the 90s. I heard some records, and then I got into it like the late 90s, early 2000s and stuff. And I came in a time when, DJs was blending instrumentals, mainstream instrumentals under Christian rap, Christian R&B, urban gospel type records, which at the time I was like, oh, this is amazing. I just think, and I think that's the fight that I've had recently. And I won't be a hypocrite because I would be a hypocrite. So shout out to DJ B Plus, because I told him recently, I was like, man, you should blend this and this and that together. So, but sometimes I feel like it's old, like, and not old like. I think this is my dilemma. I'll say this, and me and my wife go back and forth all the time. This is my dilemma about this. As a DJ, sometimes I feel like our stuff is good. Like, why do we need their stuff? You know what I mean? And I think sometimes what the problem is people don't know the songs. And as a DJ and performing places, and you're mixing and you're doing a live mix, and you're coming into songs, you're coming out of songs, whatever, you don't get the crowd. The crowd don't know the songs. They're going to look at you like, but if you put on, like she was talking about, people going to be like, oh.
It gets their attention.
Yeah. And I think I don't know the answer to it. In my heart of hearts, the answer is to get a radio station and get radio stations and to play the music so people can get used to the music, because it can be a distraction, to be honest with you.
Is it just that particular song is just so distracting because it's bed noises?
No, I'm just thinking about anything. I mean, if you in your 90s, in the 90s growing up, you love Bad Boy. But let's say the Lord saved you and you decide like, all right, I ain't listening to nothing else. I'm listening to gospel music. I'm just listening to that. That's if I put on, if I'm at a function, I'm DJing and I blend, some Kirk with some 90s Bad Boy stuff.
It's all about the Benjamins.
Yeah. I'll blend Revolution and Benjamins together. You gonna turn around and go, oh snap. You know what I mean? That's the dilemma for some people.
Does it bring you back?
Yeah, some people bring it. Those instrumentals bring people back to that time.
I guess my question is, do people feel the same way if, like, let's say you blended like outstanding? You know what I mean? Like
outstanding, yeah, like
the older, like it feels like as long as it's from my childhood, it's okay.
So
I don't even think that. I think some people, like, we got people in the comments now like, yo, don't blend the secular with the sacred. You know what I mean?
The secular with the sacred.
Yeah, like you don't blend that together. We're in church. Why are we hearing in church? Why are we hearing, Doodle Brown or
yeah, like
why are we hearing Percolator in church?
But you're mentioning things that are very sexual. Is it? Do people have the most problems?
Those are the best BPMs. Those are the best BPMs.
You're giving it away.
Those BPMs match very well with some stuff.
Well, let me ask you guys a quick question that popped in my head, and tell me your honest answers, and then I'll go for there.
Yeah.
What makes a song Christian or faith based? Like, what makes it that?
The lyrics.
Content.
All right, bam, stop right there. So it's the message in the songs that make them what they are. So it's unfortunate that some of these songs might get mixed and they have a sexual connotation.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. That's why I think, you got to just be mindful. But there's no Christian sound outside of like gospel.
I agree with that.
Right?
I agree with that.
Because even CCM is like soft rock.
Yeah, it is.
In a sense.
It's the Joshua Tree by U2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
gospel is something else too.
Yeah. So and yeah,
Blues
thanks for correcting me for that. So there's no Christian sound, but it's just important that you just be mindful of that message, because that's what's going to really change or inspire or sow the seed. And I'm talking from experience and learning how to do that, because if you listen to Christian hip hop in itself, you take the lyrics off and put some other lyrics there. Now it's secular.
Yeah.
You change a few words up, it could become something else.
I think the problem is that in the memory of the person listening to it, it doesn't matter what new lyrics you put on it. They remember the old lyrics immediately.
So for them, it's like,
it could be distracting to them if they're doing what she did and you're trying to get them to worship God, but they're hearing, something sexual or something else.
I have two problems with that though. The first, I have one problem is you're right that your mind goes back to the original thing. My only problem with that is sometimes people would use that to go against progression of sounds of saying, "Oh, that's worldly." You know what I mean? Yeah. Even though you've created this beat in your to give God glory, you made a trap beat because you heard a beat and you said the Lord gave you a song where it's talking about chanting like Jesus is King, He's King, boom, and you were doing it, and the Lord gave you that song.
Y'all make that?
Jesus is King. But you put a trap beat under it, kind of like a Todd Tribbett did, or like
Mary
Mary, or like Brandon P. He got a trap worship album, and it's like original music. It's not like you just saying like I want to get the young kids in my church because they looking at
the style of music is evil.
Because Canton Jones talked about that recently with Wado, and then he even talked about us when we went to a dinner with him, and he was talking about how like the hip hop generation ain't coming to church because they don't see themselves in the church or they don't hear themselves in the church. So it's like, how do you reach people? Because don't be blinded to for the people out there saying the secular and sacred, because the problem I have with old girl is she's saying that, but she's still ratchet. You get what I'm saying? You're saying like you love traditional gospel, but you're still living a horrible lifestyle. I'm not saying about her.
I don't
but
know.
I'm not saying her, but I'm just saying people that's like her is like, I go to the club on Saturday, but then I'm gonna be in the church.
That's the point I was going to make. A lot of this hand wringing is more based on tradition than it is based on God. A lot of it is gospel music should sound like this and this alone. When it's like, no, it shouldn't. Like, who cares? But the reason why some people get nervous, some of the older saints get nervous when you make the trap version of that gospel song, is because it's just the instruments are not evil. But the reason you made it like that was because you love music like that, and you got inspired by music like that. So it makes me question, why are you bringing that over here?
Well, if I'm saying to y'all, I'm in youth ministry and we doing old school, because let's be calm, the music that you like traditional is quartet.
It's based on something else.
It's based on old school kind of blues type music. So you like that, but my kids is like, if y'all don't stop this old school crap, what do you?
There's a fallacy that gospel is inherently pure. A choir is inherently pure. No, it's just a style. It's a style. So, and that style is based on things that used to happen before. It's not wholly originally Christian. It's borrowed from other styles. So that's wrong, right? But I think what I just said is what people are actually worried about. That's a signal to me that you listen to trap music and you're trying to bring your influence into our sacred space. It makes me nervous.
But it makes people. But then even with that, it's like people can't be themselves or kind of like what they like, right? Like, because now I'm a Christian, do I not wear jeans anymore? Do I only wear slacks all the time? Like, no. Like I used to like wearing jeans. Like God kind of allowed me to experience some things to kind of, create my likes and dislikes and styles. Like we get to choose the food we eat and things like that. It's really your diet, everything that's about you. So if you had a diet that was based in R&B and then God changed your life, but you still love R&B, there's a way to still get that, because that's what you like.
Think about how alarmed that is. I'm trying to shoot them some bail, right? Imagine these are older people. They saw you grow up, right? They saw you grow up. You were in church. We brought you around. We taught you to, this is what church is. They saw you stray away from the church into a genre of music that was evil in their eyes. It was, everybody in it was talking about evil things. You say you left that, but you're bringing your influence from that back to the church and trying to sell it back to us. The hesitation is, why are you taking anything back with you?
So my question to them would be, what do you want me to do?
Come back home and sing this bluesy gospel like we taught you.
And that church may have not a lot of people in it. People don't want to come to it. People, and I'm not saying, I'm talking about, do we care more about our traditions than a generation? That's the question we got to ask. Because if you care about a generation, then you got to say, okay, this generation loves Afrobeats. This generation loves Afrobeat style music. This generation loves, pop music, EDM music. What do they love that is appealing to them? So we can reach them.
Why is it appealing to them, Jeremiah? It's because they lusting. They just lusty and they just want to gyrate.
But no, it's not. It's just it's you. God gives everybody their own flavor of what they like.
That's what I'm saying.
You get what I'm saying? Like he's not. We're not all like. There's some black people that love pop music. I like pop, old school pop,
rock
some new
music.
rock music, or country music, or whatever. Doesn't mean that they're an evil person. It's just their preference. And you know what I mean? And then sometimes your preference is like if you come to church, it's like I have to be I can't be myself at church because the older saints just saying, sit down, boy, and listen to this. And it's like, Mama, Grandma,
you don't like this? You don't like this?
Grandma, I love Shirley Caesar, but this is old school blues music. What are you talking about?
Not me. And you like it because your generation before you liked blues, and they brought that into the church.
Yeah. Like,
so I do respect the concern because it is a little bit concerning if you see your child or somebody else's child go through this dark valley and then they brought souvenirs with them. You'd be like, why'd you bring anything with you back? Just go back to what you came from.
But I think my problem with this is this, and this is why the Christian hip hop was always have those fights. You had the G. Craig Lewis, which is funny now because he has rappers at his church, but that's another story. But then you had those different things that was blocking these things, but people's lives were a mess. You know what I mean? Like you would rather have people go traditional and not be free and live a life of like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying everybody, but I'm just saying sometimes what I realized for us, the genres that we were representing of Christian hip hop or Christian R&B or whatever, the blocking is always young people with traditional mindsets. But then when you go and see their posts and stuff, it's total opposite. It's like I grew up in church, so I know the church thing. Live this.
Yeah, you code switch for the sake of that community, and then when you're done, you go back to you being you in a sense. I think that if we could look at anything that was deemed secular or evil, and we are trying to change it for the good, I think that should be celebrated for the mere fact that you took this beat that had this message, and you're actually saying, you know what, we're gonna put never would have made it on here because that's what we live in today. And guess what? You're gonna hear this beat and you're gonna feel this way, but guess what? Your message we're gonna take you on another ride. Like think about even like merch, right? Like hoodies, hats, certain jeans, like Christian merch. Like some of those pieces, like they didn't originate in the church. Like that was from like hip hop culture or whatever our culture is secularly. But now we have the opportunity to say, John 3:16 or live your life different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, I think it's just the messaging.
Yeah, I would just say the only caution to the thing that's screaming at me is what I notice is a lot of people who feel that way about music that's more recent, either what your kids listen to or music you had when you were younger. They don't have the same reaction to sexual healing and
Luther Vandross,
and, you know what I mean, like stuff that when they were a kid is like it's cool.
Motown.
Like you go to church functions and they won't play like the stuff that we feel is evil now, but they'll play the stuff that was evil back then. Like no problem. It's the same evil mindset. Yeah. It may be more obvious now. Yeah. But it's the same stuff.
Intent, I guess. Yeah. I think that's true because I mean, if you think about like September, it's the meaning behind that is not good. I remember one of the guys from Earth, Wind and Fire was like, I don't know why people that's their marriage song. Like that song is horrible. He said it. He wrote it. So I think that's one of those things where it's like, I think we're just biased to what you like.
Everybody's biased to it.
Yeah.
So again, my suggestion is always question your own biases. Like, if you notice the speck in somebody else's eye, just know that there's probably a plank you're looking through, right? So whenever I notice, like, I don't like when so and so does that. Do I do that? Like, I just always reflect back, because you may be calling something evil. Those people are evil, and you got. You watch Godfather every Christmas. You know what I'm saying? There's stuff that you do is evil as well.
You got Scarface Saturdays.
But here's the solution, because that's always used as an excuse that I'm gonna keep doing my dirt, you gonna keep doing your dirt. No, the solution is, let's figure out, let me clean up what I need to clean up. You also clean up what you need to clean up. Both of us should be getting closer to God, not just using our own baggage as excuses. Like that, I don't like that. So I'm always listening. Like, maybe she has a point. Maybe.
No, she has a real point. She has a real hard point. And to be honest with you, that's a real thing. Like, I grew up in a church, and I don't want to hear, trap, or I don't want to hear Lil Jon and under worship music. That's not my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fine.
But my problem is, don't say that, but then you leave the church and you go with your friends, and you and your friends turning up at brunch. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that's compartmentalizing.
Yeah. I would say don't. Exactly what Jeremiah said, but also don't use that as an excuse to where what I end up seeing is everybody's just like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And everybody continues to live exactly the same.
Yeah.
You should be always striving to, like, I'm listening to you. I hear you. I'm going to evaluate that in my heart. I'm not just dismissing everything you have to say. I'm not always assuming I'm the one that's right about this. Take it in, absorb it. Both sides. All right.
Don't take my card, DJs. I still hear dope blends here and there, but at the same time, I do feel like sometimes Christian music is getting so good. In my personal opinion, this is just Jeremiah speaking. My personal opinion, if you feel like you still need to blend and do your thing, that's you. I'm not knocking you at all. I just always want to see what's next. That's how I see it. As a visionary. You're like, yo, what's next? What's next? What's next? So, but in my mind, I'm like, God, our music is so good. We don't need stuff to talk about, you know what I mean? We don't need stuff to try to enhance
to help it. Because you're basically tapping into an evil part of their heart to get their attention. Then they're always going to be looking for that. If that's what you got them with,
that's the bait.
That's what you're going to have to keep them with. And that's where it could get dangerous.